So today we are doing our Zoom call with the under 30 group here, and I'm very, very excited to be doing this phone call today, or Zoom call today, because for the first time, I've never met any of the guys on this call. So for me, it's very, very exciting. I absolutely, love talking with. I don't mean to sound. But I love talking with young radio guys because I think you all have a whole different perspective on it. So why don't we start the call? And I'll ask each of you to introduce yourself. Tell us, where you work and what you do, and then maybe we'll start talking a little bit about the state of radio today. So, Paul, I'm going to start with you in the upper left-hand corner.
All right, hey everyone, I'm Paul Andresen. As of about 2 weeks ago, I'm the brand manager, program director, whatever you want to call it, of Kello FM in Sioux Falls, South Dakota for Duke Wright and Midwest Communications.
All right, excellent. Judd, I'll go to you next.
So the title on Zoom says Director of Fun, but Program Director at WPLW, WWPL Pulse FM in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is a Curtis Media Group station. And I oversee and advise a number of the other music brand stations across Curtis Media. We operate a bunch of stations across all of North Carolina.
Wow, that's great. That's an impressive resume to have at your age, Judd. That really is. And Miguel?
Hey guys, I'm Miguel. I go by Lazy Boy. I'm a producer for a morning show on 107.5 FM in Dallas. Also on-air talent for Dale 107.5 in HD3.
So I would just love to hear your perspective on where you think radio is today and, where you think it's going. And the real big question is, do you guys think that the old guard, guys like me, are holding this, and I would hope you wouldn't think I was, but is the old guard maybe holding radio back a little bit with, not accepting some of the new ideas and the forward-thinking ideas that might be out there? So, what do you think, Judd? Maybe I'll start with you on this one.
I don't necessarily think that the industry is being held back by the old guard per se. I mean, I'm sure in some instances there is, but I think there's plenty of forward-thinking people who've been in this industry for decades, who continue to evolve through the years. And also, I think there's a lot of the old school ideas, even at sort of their basic level, that are still super important to follow today and how we do things. I mean, you look at, years ago, moving from diary to PPM, the old guard made that jump. And so we're still dealing with all that stuff today. So I think there's a lot of that stuff that still plays into our everyday sort of thing. As for them sort of standing in, the younger generation's way, I don't really see that either. I think we're all carving our own path. I do think the biggest thing that's sort of in the way of the young generation is the fact that with podcasting and like Paul said, you started your own thing. It's become so easy to start your own station or your own podcast that, we didn't have hardly any people apply for internships last year. No one's banging on my door to get into the industry at the moment, into our building. And so I think that's our biggest sort of threat is not necessarily the old guard or the new guard. It's that, it's become so easy to become your own radio personality by yourself that, we're not having the talent come streaming in like it used to.
So, Paul, I mean, when you're looking at it these days, what do you think? What do you, how are you feeling about radio today and going forward? And is the old guard holding you back?
I'm feeling good about radio. There's always the doomsday scenario, right? With every technological advancement, radio is going to die and blow up and not be here anymore. I certainly don't think that's the case, but I do think we are in a state of flux. I think, radio as an industry as a whole is really looking for a lane to fit in as far as identity goes. Okay, well, we hung our hat on personality for so long, and then we went to more of a formulaic thing. And now we're getting out of the formulaic thing just a little bit. Some of the tried and true things we thought would work don't anymore. And as Joe was saying, with podcasts, with that influx of huge personalities, whether it be YouTube, TikTok, wherever else, you're seeing radio getting back into the into the game of personality more and more. And obviously outside of morning shows, right? You're seeing us go towards more personality and drive times too. It wasn't that long ago when I started in radio. I've only been in as a jock since 2017. And
Wow.
and in 2017, it was very much my program director working for one of the bigger corporations was very much the music matters. You are here. Okay. But now it's more of, well, of course the music matters, but the person behind the mic has to matter too. So we're not just filler, So in that sense, I think radio is finding a good identity there. As far as old folks and the longtime members standing in the way, I certainly don't think that's a thing, for advancement. Because, hey, I want to put myself in those shoes in 40 years. I want to be standing in someone's way too, so I still have a job. I don't fault them for a second. But as far as advancement and growth in radio, there weren't many veteran members of the air staff and a couple buildings that I worked in that were willing to teach me anything. I had to beg someone to teach me to run a board. So I think there is apprehension with newer members of the media like us in this call. I think there's apprehension from older people to teach younger people for fear of losing their position or, maybe getting passed on for opportunities. If that is the one thing, I think that's the thing that veteran members of radio might be standing in the way just a little bit. But on the flip side, us young people have a lot to learn from people who've been in the industry for a while. So it's about balance,
Yeah, and I know that I love working with younger people, and I love teaching younger people, but also listening to what you guys have to say and saying, wait a minute, maybe they've got a point here. How do we combine what I'm thinking about with what these guys are saying, and maybe together go forward like that. So you could have a very, very good point here that some of them, the senior members need to be a little more giving of themselves and teach you guys how to do it.
I think possibly on the flip side of that too, young people, at least some that I were around in internship phase when I was working in Atlanta, thought, I've been in the building, I don't know, a month or two. When do I go on the air? And, the people in the building like, oh, hold on, you got a lot to learn. So I think there's a little bit of understanding that needs to come from us younger people too, that we need to learn before we can be given these opportunities.
Yeah. So Miguel, do you think the old guard is holding you back a little bit?
No, not at all. Actually, this is one of the things that makes me believe that radio has an advantage over media like podcasts and stuff like that, because you just get that experience, obviously I tried to do my own podcast before I got into radio, since I couldn't get on the air as fast as I wanted to. So I did my own podcast because I just wanted to talk and get that out of me. I just wanted to say what I had to say and share. And as soon as I got into radio, I just thought, man, there's just a whole bunch of stuff that I would have never learned if Jimmy wasn't there to tell me, or the main show host, and just like running a board. It's just experiences that you can just take with you. I just think it's definitely an advantage that you get in radio. And besides learning all the skills that you learn in radio, you also learn what it means to sacrifice and be dedicated to something, because it's not like a podcast, like, oh, I'm going to miss this week maybe. And maybe next week I'll have a better subject. It's every single day where you just need to give them that prime cut,
Yeah, that's a lot of content.
Yeah.
So guys, my final question is, if you could say one thing to the radio industry about going forward, about the future of radio, what would that be from your standpoint? You're all in your 30s, a little less. You're at the beginnings of your career, and I certainly am hoping that you all have long and prosperous careers. So what number one piece of advice would you give the elders who are guiding radio right now as we go forward? Paul, let me start with you on that.
Oh boy, it's a tough one. If I could say one thing to the radio industry, is take a chance. Take a chance on young people. Take a chance on something maybe you didn't do research on yet. take a chance on a new show, a new bit, a new lane of programming that no one's done before, because we have AC, we have CHR, we have classic rock. And the fact of the matter is anyone can build a great playlist on Spotify. Anyone can build a bang up playlist on Amazon Music, Pandora, anywhere in between there. But radio has the ability to blend lifestyle and personality and the great music. And maybe what has worked won't work, but something that hasn't been tried can excel farther than you can believe. But we just got to take a chance, because clearly some things we're doing right now don't work.
That's good. Miguel, if you had one piece of advice that you'd want to give all your bosses down there going forward, especially with your audience, which is such a passionate audience.
Yeah, I have to agree with Paul. Definitely have to agree with Paul. I will tell them be innovative and take some risks, some crazy risks. Just go for it. I mean, I know kids like us. We think it's time for us, right away, and there's a lot of dues we need to pay, but I think it definitely pays off. Just like we're transitioning right now, I think in Hispanic radio, they're much more forgiving of us speaking English on our show, with the bad sound effects and stuff. So I think it paid off. This pandemic forced them for me to be the board op. So I controlled the effects. I inserted whatever I wanted, and they responded really good. So we're number one now, actually. So I think that's what they should do. Just take a chance. That's what I hope I can be able to do in the future if I'm ever somebody's boss. Like, take a chance on a kid.
Yeah. Now, do you feel that young people aren't getting their shot right now?
I think they do. It's just that they don't know our mentors don't know how to give it to us. I feel like once we're in the door, like, okay, here's your shot and that's it. But I think it goes a little further than that. It's something that they need to learn how to use our talents. You know what I mean? Use us for what we're actually good at. Because we might not be a fit here, but we could be way better doing something else and just communicate, because in the radio industry, you get in and you just get into that current. You're going and going and going. We should just take a pause and see, okay, what can you do? Yeah. What do you think?
And Judd, I want to get your answer on that. But before I do, Paul, I saw you nodding your head. I kind of get the feeling you guys are saying, hey, trust us, trust us a little bit to let us help guide you into the future. Did I read that right? Or
well, and I get why you don't. It's the point that I made before. You got young people coming in here who are hungry and want a chance. That's everywhere, right? That's not just radio. But if I'm sitting here as a program director, okay, I have my job. But if I let this kid take a chance and he screws up something royally, that reflects on me. And there's 1,500 other radio dudes on the beach looking for my job right now. So I get why they're not letting kids take a chance. But if you don't let younger talent take a chance when the older talent is gone and you're looking for good quality programming people to step up and fill their shoes, they're not going to be there because they went to another medium where they would have a chance.
Right. Good point. Judd, what was it?
Yeah, just picking up sort of where they left off, my thing would be give us a seat at the table. Not necessarily even, throw us on the air or whatever, but just bring us into the fold so that we can learn and be the sponges that I think a lot of young people are. And that means in programming in every facet. I mean, I attend all the sales meetings here at our station, not because I have any interest in selling, but just so that I understand how it works and how it's, how that side of the business works. So, and I was lucky that they gave me a seat at the table. So I think that's the big thing is, just give us the opportunity to learn and be that sponge and, bring kids into the studio and just let them watch. That's what I do with all my interns. We do lots of stuff outside of the studio, but a good chunk of it is just coming in here and watching and seeing and learning and getting to be a sponge and be a part of it.
Yeah. So, you just reminded me, Judd, when I was the program director of Q95 in Detroit, my bosses told me that I had to attend a sales seminar for a week. And I was like, well, wait a minute. I'm the program director. Why do I have to go to a sales seminar for a week? Oh my God, hanging out with the sales department for a week. Well, fast forward, it was the most valuable, best week ever. Oh my God, I learned so much at that seminar, not necessarily about how to sell radio time or be a salesperson, but just the whole process. So I'm glad to hear that you said you did that, because I found that very, very helpful as well. So what I'm kind of hearing from everybody is that there's a lot of energy and a lot of excitement from you guys going down the road with radio. And I like that expression. You just want a seat at the table. That's maybe a good way to wrap this up. I mean, is that pretty much
exactly?
True?
I mean, that's how I see it. And I definitely got to wrap it up because I've got a mic break in 37 seconds.
Well, Judd, Miguel, and Paul, I thank you for being here today. And it was a good call. It was really, I can tell you it was great for me. I hope for everybody watching it was good too.
It absolutely was.
Welcome to Berkowitz Broadcast Consulting.